Welcome to the Amalgam Hour, the movie and comic podcast. I'm Robin.
I'm Dan.
If you've looked at our channel at all, you can see that we kind of like doing pitches. Specifically comic pitches. We've made, Well, this idea of the comic pitch challenge, which we'll only probably ever do, but it's okay, actually came from our last pitch video, which was Avengers, I believe, where we came up with a couple of characters, a villain, and a setting to then make a story out of, and I think we did pretty well. But we've also done Suicide Squad pitch for a comic where they fought, was it the Justice League Society taken over by Starro? I think that was the story. And then it was Falcon and the Winter Soldier versus, was it Mysterio and the Leader?
Oh idea, it was a long time ago.
That was a very long time ago. I
didn't do my homework.
That was like one of the first videos. But we're back. Specifically, I like to do comic pitches. So what we're going to do today, Dan's going to throw character or superheroes, villains, and a setting at me, and then you're going to watch me flounder to try and come up with a story at all. So Dan, give me the first pairing.
I've got my wheel to side.
Okay, go on, random roulette it.
Okay, number one, your hero for this story.
I'm already panicking.
Batman.
Okay, Batman. I wrote for Batman before. I've had loads of pitch ideas for him. Okay, I can work with this.
Quite an easy character to work with.
Yeah, but now you're going to give me, like, Darkseid.
Who's the villain he's going to be facing? No, it's not Darkseid, it's Brainiac.
Brainiac?
Yeah.
Oh!
And the setting...
Yeah, go on.
And the setting is the Fortress of Solitude.
Oh, Dan, you've messed up, my friend. I already have a Batman versus Brainiac pitch. I literally, if you go into my notes on my phone, there's a story called Gotham No More. I'm not going to set it in Gotham. It's going to be in the Fortress of Solitude, was it? Okay. Fun. Just so that you're aware, my Gotham No More pitch was Brainiac takes Gotham and shrinks it and puts in a bottle city. And then Batman's got to deal with that. That's what that pitch was. But you know that's what Brainiac's going to be trying to do this time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say it's Batman. Starts off with him late night in the Fortress of Solitude. Gotham's currently being handled by Nightwing, blah, 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 and, you know, the rest of the Bat family. Whoever's in town. Batgirl, Batwing, any of the bats. Batgirl number 2, Batgirl number 3. And I know the name's spoiler, but shut up. Okay, so he's there doing late night. What's he trying to detect? I went to say a disturbance in the force. Fuck it, we'll go with that. What could it be? Go on, Dan, you can help as well. What could we detect in space?
This is your job. It's a big skull.
That's fair enough. Why don't, from across all the planets, people have been saying to the Fortress of Solitude that they've been seeing Brainiac just sort of hovering. Just over their country or over their planets. We see it on Oa. We see it on another planet. And another planet. Because all I could think of was Oa. Name another planet in DC. Thamageria,
Krypton.
wherever they're from. No,
wait,
that planet's dead. The Thanagar. There you go. And that can be it. Yes. So they see
the other Green Lantern planets, but they're not green.
Yeah. So Brainiac is just sort of appearing in the sky and then disappearing. Why? Batman's there to find out. He's doing some detection work, but currently all the other Leaguers aren't available, or he's keeping it a secret. Why is he keeping it a secret? I don't know. Let my brain think of that. I'll improvise first. So, he's just on this thing by himself, and he's pinpointing all of the locations of the planets together. What could they be? Okay, I have an idea. This is the stupidest idea I've ever come up with. But hey ho.
You'll work with it.
I'll do it. Batman's looking at the computer in the... Was it the hall Where was it again? Where was the setting?
Fortress of Solitude.
Oh, so that's in Superman. I was thinking it was in... I thought you said... What's the fortress? The satellite.
Oh, the watchtower also.
Yeah. So I'm going to say, yeah. Batman doesn't currently have access to that. Or Brainiac was using like a Kryptonian frequency. And then all these planets have come to the Justice League and been like, hey, this weird frequency has been broadcast all over our planet in like just for 1 minute. Ruins all of our technology and then disappears. What could that mean? And then, you know, it can be they're in the satellite for now, and then they go, okay, so who's going to deal with this? And Superman's like, I'll deal with that. And Batman goes, no, it's okay. I'll have that. Why don't you take, I don't know, name me a Superman villain.
General Zod.
Okay, General Zod was spotted in Oa. You deal with that, Clark. I'm just going to take the Brainiac stuff and break into the fortress. Don't mind me. You're dealing with Zod.
Like he did in the Lego Batman movie, breaking in the exact same way.
Exactly. He breaks in that way, yes. No. He breaks in undetected. And this is where he actually has to, like, he does a bit of hacking, you know? He breaks through walls. And why does he do this? Because he's figured out that if you put all of the planets on a map of the galaxy and you pinpoint every single planet it's went to, it creates the Superman symbol. Yeah? Carry on. We're going. And he's realised that, but he's realised it's a dot to dot, but it's not finished yet. It's not finished yet. And how would you finish the dot to dot? By that signal coming to Earth. Oh, you couldn't deal with that. This is comic bullshit, and I love it. So Batman then realizes, he's like, okay, I don't want to have Clark involved, because clearly whatever this is trying to get Clark. So if I just take him away for now, I just take him out of the equation, potentially, he won't get hurt in this. So is Batman being a dick, but in a nice way? See? And then Batman uses his super science, or the super science of Kryptonians, to decipher the signal. And he turns into radio waves. And you know, like, it creates static on the computer. Which is strange, it's a computer, you can't have static. But you know what that forms? A skull. And as that happens, the Brainiac appears over the Fortress of Solitude, and that signal blares for a second. And then you can cut between all the Justice League going, what the fuck is that? And then Superman going, and as that happens, Brainiac picks up the Fortress of Solitude, and it's shrunk. No. What's going to happen? I don't know.
Batman inside at this point.
Yes.
Okay.
Batman is inside, and it's shrunk. It is shrunk. And Brainiac goes like, he finally grabs the jar, shakes it, and goes, Superman, I have you. And then Batman falls out the fortress like, what the fuck? And Brainiac's like, uh-oh. Oh, shit. And then as that happens, Superman blasts through the Brainiac ship. And he's like, where the fuck's my fortress gone? But Brainiac was prepared.
That's the actual line in the comic.
Yeah, where the fuck's my fortress gone? He doesn't even know Batman was involved yet. He doesn't even know. Brainiac's whole plan was to make this signal go out, have Superman trying to investigate it using the only thing he could, the Kryptonian computers. And then at the exact moment he figures it out, he's going to appear and collect the fortress. He forgot that Batman's a dick. So he's done that. Superman doesn't even know Batman's there. But Brainiac was prepared for Superman to be small but super. So he still has a hunk of kryptonite. It's only a small piece, but he gets a good shot in, you know? During the fight, Superman's like blasting through the ship. Just being like, Brainiac, come here. And during this, the bottle fortress of... What was it called? The Fortress of Solitude? The bottled Fortress of Solitude. That falls, cracks open. And now what you have, Brainiac then defeats Superman during this epic scene by taking a shard. And he was only going to use a tiny piece, because he thought it'd be funny because he was going to be tiny, but he puts it inside of a plasma gun. Because, you know, Brainiac's got that. Fires at Superman. That piece lodges into Superman. Tiny little piece, a speck, lodges into Superman. Uh-oh. Brainiac's won. But you now go on a Honey, I Shrunk the Kid style adventure as Batman is running across Brainiac's ship trying to defeat him.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kid style Batman.
So what Batman's doing, he's running across the entire ship, disrupting it just enough, trying to send out signals. But he's tiny. He's got a tiny little grapple hook. Pew! You know, he's swinging across the ship. He's having fun. And he's like, I'm not used to this. This is fucked. And he's like gliding around as Brainiac has realised, I've just taken down Superman. Earth is mine, bitch. So he puts the skull, his skull ship, where the fortress was, and like tentacles come out of it and stab into the earth, and then he's built a Brainiac army. Or it's what's the Superman villain with a shard of kryptonite as its like power source? Oh, what's his name?
Metallo?
Metallo, that's it. Yes. So
Superman villain, but okay. Yeah, you did say Superman villain. What am I on? Carry on.
Yeah. So Brainiac's made a sort of a Metallo army. They're like droids. They're no longer like a person. They're like droids that go out, and they're powered by similar little tiny specks of kryptonite. And Batman's going through and like he disarms one as like it's about to go out, or he messes with like the wiring so the door can't open. And Brainiac's like, what the fuck? Like he just believes it was just damage from the Superman fight, but it's actually a tiny little Batman running about. And I'm going to say that he finds maybe an alien like bug in the walls. He rides that for a bit. We get like a Pickle Rick scene where he then has to kill one and like wear its shell as armor. Fuck it. And at one point, you know he's going to take over one of those Metallo droids to defeat Brainiac, while he glides down, goes to Superman, who's currently like chained up to the wall, but he's got that speck of kryptonite in his heart, and he's like, I'm sorry, Clark, and plunges into that hole and slowly drags out that shard of kryptonite, throws it away, and then goes, he says, Clark, I need you. And then you pan into Superman's head as this tiny little whisper Superman hears, shoots up, defeats Brainiac, reverses the shrinking ray. Brainiac gets dead. All the Metallos fall into where is it? Is that Antarctica? Is that where the Solitude is?
Yeah, it's
one of the snowy ones. Yeah. They fall into the Antarctic to be seen in a later adventure. Brainiac is defeated. Batman is unshrank, but he's fuming. He is absolutely pissed. But then now they have Brainiac technology, so they can go on to reverse the bottle city of Kandor, and this, that, and the other. And Batman goes back to Gotham, seething with anger. And then Superman goes to be angry with him because he kept it to himself. But all he can do is hug him as the wound in his chest heals over. There you go. The end.
Okay, that happened.
I'm sorry. Can I get a round of applause? Thank you very much. And by the way, audience at home, I forgot I was doing a video all of a sudden. I thought I was just ranting at you about a Batman story I wrote. Yeah. This is all improv. Yeah. And I came up with Honey, I Shrunk the Kid. Honey, I Shrunk the Batman.
Honey, I Shrunk the Batman.
Oh no, we found the subtitle. Oh no. I kind of love that though. That is the stupidest story I've ever heard of, and I love it so much. That's great. Okay, so Batman. Or is it like Honey, I Shrunk the Fortress? But then...
No, Honey, I Shrunk the Batman sounds better.
That's what it would be if it was like an original graphic novel. If it was in the Batman run, it would be Batman, Honey, I Shrunk the Fortress. You know? And you can be it so maybe he was already messing with Brainiac tech, but we move. Okay, the next one. I'm ready now. I came up with a great story.
Oh, it's ready for you, and you're not going to like it.
Oh, no.
Okay, well, we were just talking about a Superman, yeah. His name's just popped up.
Oh, you know I don't like Superman.
Yeah, but guess who? Guess who his villain's gonna be this time round?
If you say
Not
the
gonna.
Joker, I'm gonna strangle you.
Oh,
Okay. What? Who?
Bane.
Bane?
Yeah,
Bane?
yeah. You'll never get to say it.
Where? Go on.
The bottle sea of candle.
Oh, okay. Okay, how am I
Sorry.
going to do this? Okay.
Do apologise, but if you pull this off,
Okay. Okay. I've got it. I've got it.
I thought I broke him.
No. I've got it, Dan. So, this is a sequel to Honey, I Shrunk the Batman, but it's a Superman comic now. This is a sequel, you know? It's... Oh! I just thought of the perfect title. I'll leave it till the end, yeah? But after that story, Batman keeps a small fragment of the machine that turned him small. He keeps it in the Batcave. So you got the dinosaur, you got the penny, and you got some Brainiac technology. Joker, he does a typical little like attack on Bruce on the mansion because you know currently he knows his identity, that sort of thing. He goes in, but his whole plan this time is he causes a bunch of ruckus across the entire city of Gotham. Yeah, this is the first couple of pages, not the huge amount of story. 1-2 pages. He goes in, and his entire plan is he's going to steal everything in the Batcave. He takes the penny, so you see him going through. He like dumps the penny into Gotham Dock, and then you see him riding on the dinosaur. One of his minions takes the reverse thing, only to like then go on and sell it. He sells it to Penguin, who then sells it to this person, and it ends up in Bane's hands. Yeah. Ends up in Bane's hands. But it's not the shrinking one, it was on Big. And then he merges that with his, like, do you know his Bane suit where it's all the coils that wrap around? Usually it would be Venom, but he's like, I know a way to keep off the Venom while still being big. And he turns it on, growing into, like, Giganto Bane. You know?
Giganto Bane. So he's basically like Ant-Man, but he's Bane.
Yes. I was more thinking Giganta, the Wonder Woman villain, but yes. So he's now huge. And it's like, he's just batting away Batman at this point, you know? What's Batman going to do? He's not ready for this. He's like flying planes. He's dealing with the Joker problem. And then all of a sudden, Superman just barges through. And the simplest thing he does, he grabs him by the collar, and this is the big action scene, yeah? Or one of them. Bane's fighting him in huge form. Superman's trying to stop him from being in Gotham. Yeah? He's trying to stop him from being in Gotham. He's pushing back. And then all of a sudden, he takes one good hit across Bane's face. And then he grabs him by one of the tubes and starts flying upwards with all of his might and then flings him into the ocean. You know, to take him away from Gotham. And I'm going to sort of mess with the setting a bit. It's not all going to take place in the Bottle City of Kandor. The end portion will. Okay? The end portion will. So they're fighting. So it's huge, gigantic Bane fighting Superman in the middle of the ocean between Gotham and Metropolis. So you can see, like, I want a long shot of Gotham being all broody and dark with Gothic architecture. And then on the other side of the ocean, you see, like, is it Metropolis Tower? What's the newspaper called?
Daily Planet.
Daily Planet, yeah, you see that building, and right in the middle, a huge Bane fighting Superman. And he's like, oh, this is fun already. This is some kaiju shit, yeah? This is some kaiju shit. And they're fighting. They're fighting. And then all of a sudden, Superman punches the Brainiac technology that is now within Bane's suit. And a big flash happens. But you're like, nothing really comes of that. Until it pans out, and you realise that... Okay, so this entire fight, it's been huge Bane and Superman. The Flash happens, and it's still that. until all of a sudden they're attacked by a seagull 1,000 times bigger than them. Do you know why? Because they shrunk. The Brainiac technology reversed it, but they kept the same size compared to each other. So Superman's tiny, but Bane is only slightly bigger. You know? So if you put it in your hand, it would be like a speck of dirt next to like a Toy Story army man. That's what they've shrunk into. But because they were fighting in the ocean, when they shrunk, they were just still on the ocean, like, top. But then all of a sudden a seagull comes in, and then it pans out, and you realise they are tiny in comparison. But they just carry on. And now Superman's like, I've got to get big. Uh-oh. They're still fighting Bane. And Bane is bigger at this point. And he just starts, he, like, takes a... Well, he's big in comparison to Superman. You know? They're both tiny, but Bane's just a little bit bigger. Just a little bit bigger.
You know, it's like a toy.
Yeah.
You can't even see.
Exactly. So it's staying the same size, but very small. And they're fighting on the water, blah, 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 blah. Later happens. Superman is getting defeated at this point. They've washed up on Metropolis, like a beach in Metropolis. And Bane is just hammering Superman into the sand. But the sand is huge, remember? And, there's got to be a scene where, like, Bane throws a tiny speck of sand at Superman. And Superman uses his heat vision. And it creates a blob of glass that covers Superman. And Bane's now trying to mess with this during that. And Superman's like, I can't defeat him. I would need allies. But, like, I can't get anyone's attention while being this small. He shatters out of the glass and he's like, let's try this one more time. So he does the thing again, where he picks up Bane and flies him to a more secure area, yeah? And at this point, the Fortress of Solitude is in repairs. So he's currently moved a lot of his stuff to his apartment. And that's a fun, wacky Superman story in between. You know? He flies Bane over to his apartment. And they blast through glass. And then they land. And then all of a sudden, Bane's like, just because you've brung me to your, like, to the heart of Metropolis doesn't mean I can win. And then Superman goes, no, I didn't bring you to Metropolis. I brought you to where I'd have friends. And then it pans out to see that the glass they broke through was the bottle city of Kandor. And now it's like 100-foot Bane versus, like, these regular people. But it's like a war. People, like, throwing shit at him. It's Kryptonian technology blasting at them. You know? And then... Okay, so this is where the new status quo for Superman kicks in. They hit him so hard, the technology disrupts again. Shrinks Bane to normal size in comparison to all the Kryptonians, you know? So they're all very tiny, and then boom, the machine goes off. And when the dust clears... I don't know... the Bottle City Candle was hit at that beach. And now if you look at Metropolis, it's normal Metropolis, but on the side is a full-grown city of Kandor. And there you go. And then Bane's just like, because now he's his normal size again. And Superman just clocks him across the face and delivers into Gotham. And then the end of the story, you realise, oh shit, the Bottle of City Candor is back. Boom! And this story is called Superman, Honey, I Blew Up Bane. Because the third one in that trilogy is... No, the sequel is Honey, I Blew Up the Baby. It is Honey, I Blew Up the Bane. Yes! Let's go! Fuck
Honey,
you, Dan.
I blew up the Bane.
Honey, I Blew Up the Bane. You thought you could give me a curveball. Nah, bitch. I was ready for you.
I thought I had you.
I was ready for you. I made it a sequel. Go on, give me another Justice Leaguer and a character. I'll make it a fucking trilogy, and it'll be the Justice League versus a character, and they'll all shrink, and it's called Honey, I Shrunk Us, which is the trilogy of those films. Boom, there you go. See, I was ready.
Well, we're not going.
I'm ready
We're not going
to my core. This is improv.
We're stepping away
best.
from DC now.
Okay. Bit of Marvel.
The next, we're going over to Marvel.
How am I going to get Honey, I Shrunk the Kids involved, though? I didn't know that. I didn't know that's what this pitch idea was. It was the comic pitch challenge. must include Honey, I Shrunk the Kid references only.
I know what the thumbnail is.
Go on.
Okay, our new hero is Wolverine.
Okay, Wolverine. He doesn't shrink a lot, but sure.
Nobody's shrinking this time.
Oh, I bet you I can.
He has to fight up. Yeah, Ant-Man just spawns in.
Yeah.
There's Abomination as the villain,
Okay, okay.
and your setting is Utopia.
Utopia?
Like his Magneto's Utopia. I had to Google it.
Okay. That's not even in the current comics, but okay. It's a
matter.
prequel. Okay, it's a prequel comic showing a story of Wolverine versus Abomination. Straight off the bat, I want the cover to be a reference to Wolverine's first origin, when he's fighting the Hulk. Straight off the bat, I want the cover. There you go. Boom. Oh, how am I going to get this? Somehow I was able to do Superman versus Bane better than Wolverine versus Abomination.
It seems like quite an easy thing to do.
Yes.
I ain't doing it.
I ain't. Fuck that. Okay. Okay. It's a Wolverine story, but it's more of a low-key one. We start off with him not in the outfit. He's currently in the he's in the underworld. No, he's in Utopia. He snuck in because a mutant from Utopia fled to the X-Men, complaining about this new drug that was causing mutants' powers to be overwhelmed. But Magneto's ignoring it at that time, believing he's getting better mutants out of it. And then all of a sudden, that guy who came to the X-Men, I don't know, he's got the powers of... He can turn people into pieces of paper. That's his power. All of a sudden, he starts to... His muscles start to ripple, and he's like, I took the drug, I'm sorry. And then all of a sudden, he explodes in energy, and all that's left is one piece of paper. I don't know who this original character is, but it's this guy, apparently.
Oh, man.
His name's Papercut. That's his X-Men name, Papercut.
Fair enough.
His name's Mr. Jonathan Athor, because his surname's A4, like a piece of... Oh, I'm so funny. I don't know who this character is all of a sudden. Okay, back to this. Wolverine snuck into Utopia. He did a thing. He didn't even fly there or get a boat. He swam there. He drowned several times, only to then be woken up and carry on swimming. So he's got his outfit on, but it's like he doesn't have the mask on. It's wet, it's dirty, it's gross. He may have put like a coat or something over it, you know? And he's sneaking through the woods of Utopia, like passing past the Utopian city. But he's sniffing. He's sniffing out for this drug, yeah. He's sniffing it. He's in the air. He can smell it. He's watching like from the forest, seeing mutants like Magneto's Brotherhood, who are angrier, stronger, meaner, but he can smell the same thing between them all.
Yeah.
And he's like, what's that? Smells like... I can smell their blood. It's so strong. It's so vivid. What even does that mean? And then he's like... Okay. He then goes deeper into the forest and he, like, tracks some of it. He's able to find a seller of it. Who's selling it on this island? Toad is. Toad's on Utopia, but he's shredded Toad. He's the biggest, hulkiest Toad you've ever seen. And Wolverine's in front of him, and they have a scrap, you know? Wolverine cuts off his huge meaty tongue, which I never want to say that sentence again. And Wolverine shakes him down for where this drug is coming from. And Toad can only do one thing. Point deeper in towards the forest surrounding Utopia. Wolverine snicks, walks into this forest, being able to smell this drug in the air that's wafting into the city. He's going in, he's shrieking people. He sees people on their way back from getting this drug. Name me a mutant, Dan. Go.
Oh.
A villainous mutant who would be on Magneto's side. Okay, you're not good at improv.
Sabretooth.
Okay, Sabretooth and Omega Red are there, but they're huge, they're bulky. What does Wolverine do? He blows them all up. Fuck it. He literally, Omega Red, big Russian guy. He usually has these tentacles. He's got a big thing of grenades around him. He looks like he's from the 90s. You know, he's from 90s comics. He's got pouches. He's got a grenade belt because he's stronger. He's angrier. He's meaner. And during an all-out, brawl-out fight, Wolverine goes, "Have fun," and then pulls all of the grenades out. A huge blows up the forest, and Magneto's like, now what the fuck is this? And then it cuts to hours later, where Wolverine's hand comes out of the ground, and he's now like, his suit's destroyed, and he's healed. Sabretooth's healing. Omega Red isn't dead, but they've been taken out for now. And he's like, before Magneto gets to me, I need to carry on my mission. He goes deeper into the forest. Okay. Yeah. How can I get this? Okay. He then comes across, in the middle of this forest, what looks like almost like a shipment container that has been left on. It's where a beach meets the forest, you know? It's a shipment container. But he realizes it's a shield shipment container. That was actually a prison cargo vessel that's been destroyed and has ended up on Utopia by mistake. And then Wolverine walks through seeing these vials of green liquid. And then when he finally steps inside of the ship, what does he see? He sees a half-depowered abomination. So like half abomination, half human. It's gross. It's decayed. And give me a really strong mutant, but below Magneto. Who could it be? Who could take out Abomination, pretty much? Who's a Brotherhood level?
Juggernaut?
Juggernaut, maybe? Okay, I like that idea. They come up, he goes in, and what does he see? He sees both Blob, the Blob, huge, even bigger than he was. Juggernaut, even bigger than he was, holding down half man, half abomination, and taking blood samples that are then going into these vials. So these gamma irradiated blood samples are being given to mutants to make them stronger. But what is happening? It's too much gamma for one mutant to take, and it's almost the mutant gene blows up with all the energy it holds. You know? You understand now?
I'm following.
You following? Good. So what Magneto's done is set up this. He found Abomination immediately. He kept him inside the shipment container, but Blob and Juggernaut are there in order to keep this drug going through, because what Magneto's is trying to do, get this drug into the lower levels of Utopia, so that then when it becomes like a forced upon thing in Utopia where you have to take this drug to get stronger, to get meaner, to get more powers, so we can then take on an army of the X-Men, you know? This is where Magneto's like, I want to build Utopia, I want to be a king, I want to be a ruler, but also I want to take out the X-Men, you know? He's doing this. And Wolverine's just fuming at this point, because there's mutants turning on mutants, mutants killing mutants. He's not happy about that. So Blob runs over to Wolverine. Juggernaut is still trying to hold down Abomination. Abomination's still kicking, because he's half man, half abomination at this point because of all the blood and gamma that's being constantly drained out of him. He's still kicking, so Juggernaut's got to hold him down. Okay. A Wolverine Blob fight happens. I don't know how you resolve that. How do you resolve that, Tan?
Claws to the chin.
No, just slashes, just... Or
slashes off his third chin.
He tries to do that, and the blubber just sinks around his claws, and he's like, uh-oh. And then Blob's doubles fist comes down and just buries him into the ground.
Blob used to have a double chin, he now has four chins.
Yeah. Okay. How does Wolverine defeat Blob? What he does, Blob grabs Wolverine and swings him round by the ankle, throwing him deeper into the forest. But Wolverine is able to flip around, catch himself, and on like thin trees where they can sort of bend. Yeah? Now this is some cartoon level comic shit. Wolverine puts his feet up against this tree as he's going velocity of the other way. The tree bends, flicks him back towards Blob, and he whispers, "Well, I guess I don't need Colossus for a fastball special." But instead of doing the claws, he puts his 2 feet out, kicking Blob into the ocean, who then just like sinks. Blob has trouble swimming. You can tell why. You can infer. He's
a bit of a blob.
He's a bit chunky. And Wolverine lands on this beach after just kicking Blob with like max velocity. His skin got peeled off with how fast he went, but it's slowly healing back. And Abomination's kicking at this point, and Juggernaut goes, "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!" and then runs at Wolverine as fast as he can. And Wolverine's had enough at this point. He's done. He's over it. Wolverine snicks, runs towards Wolverine, and in that moment, he slides. He slides beneath Juggernaut's legs, and then they run past each other. Juggernaut comes to a stop, scraping off the sand at the beach beneath his feet, turning around, only then to look down and see that his ankles have been slashed and torn up. Juggernaut then goes face down into the sand, no longer being able to move. The unstoppable object has been stopped. He sinks into the sand. Sand pours into the mask, and Wolverine stands there triumphantly. Until an Abomination grows, now no longer half-human, shatters out of this shipment container, and they go for an all-out, brawl-out battle on the beaches of Utopia, ending in Wolverine looking at the drug for just a second, turning into feral mode, taking a heap of it right to the face, slashing Abomination like no more, ending in Abomination's decapitated head being left on the beaches of Utopia, with Wolverine walking away, seeming with energy, but his body's constantly healing itself, only for him to then walk into the ocean and to be disappeared from Utopia forevermore. Boom, bitch! There you go!
What's this one called then?
It's called, I don't know. I came up with a story, man. Honey, I blew up the Hulk. I blew up the Wolverine. No. Well, what could it be called? Come on, then. You just heard all of that. Which I feel like that's a very action-packed. He put a lot of characters in this story.
Yeah, he did.
What could it be called?
Don't know.
I bet the original one was just called like Hulk versus Wolverine.
Probably.
But that's the whole mystery as well when you get to Abomination. So you kind of Abomination. I don't know.
Wolverine. I don't know. Just Wolverine.
You could call it like Wolverine Drug Gamma, or something. Something that alludes to that. Or Drug Mutant, Mutant X. Or no, Drug X, And that's what they're calling it within the story. Boom, there you go. I used characters that I don't care about at all. And I think I came up with some pretty good imagery at least. My God. I love how in the Bane story I didn't use the drug Venom, but in the Wolverine story I used a drug similar to Venom. We move.
Yes.
We move. Got next character.
Your next character,
I hope
your
the
hero.
audience is loving this, by the way. My throat, my voice is going. I can tell it's going.
Yeah.
I'm getting hyper over these, but next one, I'm so ready.
Your hero is Daredevil.
Yes, okay.
Your villain is the Rhino.
Oh, no.
And your setting is New York City.
Didn't we, in our Avengers pitch, have Daredevil go up against Rhino?
Oh.
Who was it then instead?
It was like the Lizard or something.
Oh, it was the Lizard. Yeah. Or was it the Lizard? I feel...
Yeah. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
We all decided this was the story.
Yeah. This one, it's gonna be simpler. I'm not gonna go into scene by scene. I'm just going to try and come up with a basic plot. Okay, what could it be? Why is Daredevil involved? Why is Rhino involved?
New York City.
Yes.
New York City.
But that's not how comic writing works. You can't just be like, oh, they're fighting. Because why is Daredevil involved? Okay. Daredevil, Matt Murdock, is walking round the streets of New York, obviously. But there's been recent tremor activity. None that has been questionable, just slight tremors. Why? Maybe it's superhero fights that are going on somewhere else. Maybe it's this. Maybe it's just a natural occurrence. Scientists are working on it. It's no problem. Sewers have stopped working. The train systems have been broken because of this. It all makes sense. But one day, Matt Murdock is walking down the street as he's hearing these tremors, as a small tremor happens. But Daredevil's keen senses keys into the fact that it's not tremors, it's footsteps. Which, for one, that is a great line, by the way. I'm going to get that tattooed on my lower back. But Daredevil then suits up in the night, and he goes into the sewers. He's looking around for these things. And then after a long time searching, what does he find? Huge round footprints in the sewer systems, badged through walls. But if you didn't know it was footsteps, yeah, that's just damage, you know? Small tremors are happening, damage is being caused. That just makes sense. There's currently on the surface, people are trying to prepare for that. They're putting buildings that are fragile with scaffolding. There's building crews trying to fix the sewers and put up support beams just in case New York is becoming like a fault line or whatever. And then Daredevil finally finds it. He hears footsteps coming right towards him. And then out from the shadows, Rhino obviously bursts out. Daredevil tries to stop him. Rhino runs straight past him, badges through more walls until all of a sudden the floor begins to shake. As a building that was being supported by the wall that Rhino just took out collapses, falling into the sewers of New York. What a story. Mole men could appear at this point, you know? Oh, Mole Man, I should say, and his little moloids. Little freaks. That's what was in the Avengers pitch. It was Mole Man and Lizard. That was a fun pitch. Go and watch that if you haven't. But, this story. Yeah, Daredevil goes home, he returns to the sewers, and he's like, why the frick is Rhino doing this? I don't understand.
Yeah.
He's spending weeks camping out into the sewers, trying to find Rhino, stop Rhino, until one day he finds what looks like more damage from a tremor, but it's just a hole that goes like slightly angled down, just going deeper beneath the New York. And at this point, he's in his element. He's with bats. Bats are swarming around him at this point. The echolocations are clashing together, and the bats are almost treating him like one of his own. You know, because they got echolocation, they're being friends at this point. But he's slowly walking down this tunnel, and I thought, like, oh yeah, he is like a lamp in his hand or a torch. Bitch, he don't need that. So he's walking down until he comes across a wet, damp, almost like forgotten cave beneath the surface, finding Rhino there, sharpening his horn with glowing red eyes. And you're like, what the fuck is that? What's that for? Daredevil goes there, and then he realizes Rhino is swarmed by moloids as Mole Man raises his hand and his eyes glow red, because this is in fact a sequel to our Avengers pitch, where he had a crystal that could control animal-themed characters. Mole Man has a hint of that power left, and what's he using it for? He's using Rhino to take out the support systems of New York, so the entire city will fall and the moloids will take over. And then Daredevil and Rhino fight. And that's how that happens. What it happens is, it's mostly Daredevil and the bats swarming Rhino, dodging his every attack. Daredevil's putting his all into it until he realizes, wait, I don't need to defeat Rhino. And he throws a billy club right at Mole Man's head, smacking him to the ground, making him lose concentration. And Rhino snaps back. And he goes, what? He's like, what? Where am I? And then he's just confused at this point and gets scared by the rush of bats and moloids are around him. And he just runs away. And then it's a scene of Daredevil knocking away moloids, ending in Mole Man looking up after being hit to the ground to only just get a Daredevil punch straight across the face. And then a letter turns up at the Daily Bugle saying, gives a street address, and it says 100 feet down. Peter Parker goes there as well as a news reporter. They go into this cave system, finding moloids and Mole Man all tied together with one huge long rope of a billy club. And then the end. And this one's just called Daredevil Tremors. But not the Tremors film starring Kevin Bacon. Not that one. Just Daredevil Tremors. See?
Just had to make a reference, didn't you?
Yes. It's a reference within a reference. We're building the Infernum Marvel Comics universe, okay? We've got sequels, we've got ideas, we've got spin-offs. Because halfway through, I realised I don't know why Rhino would do this at all. And then I mentioned Mole Man, and I was like, who else would want to submerge a city? You know? I think that's a plot point in Old Man Logan, I think. Where the moloids are taking out They go to like small villages. They take out the rocks beneath them. So when the village sinks into the ground, moloids just swarm in and eat everyone. It's a little less dark in this one. Just a little bit. But there you go. Daredevil Tremors. My brain is working 1,000 miles an hour. I just want everyone watching at home, please comment what your favourite one is. So what have you got to choose between? Batman, Honey, I Shrunk the Fortress.
Honey, I Shrunk the Batman.
No.
Superman, Honey, I Blew Up the Bane.
Yeah.
Wolverine, Drug X, and Daredevil Tremors.
That sounds... If I had that on my resume, that I wrote all of these... And by the way, come back in 40 years when I have successfully got into comics. I wrote all of these for Marvel and DC. Or, what's more likely, I went to Marvel and DC, pitched them, and I got turned down. But I walked in and just said the titles and then walked out. Okay, are we doing one more? Go on, give me your best one. More.
Let's make it interesting. Random spin.
Oh no.
Moon Knight. Now that happened.
Oh, come on then. My favourite boy, mentioned in every episode. I wasn't going to mention him, but now that you've said it...
Against Killer Croc.
What? No. We said same universe. And don't say the Lizard, because that was in our Avengers pitch.
Facing off against Galactus.
No.
Oh, Magneto.
No.
Magneto is facing off against either that or Dr. Doom. That's my only other option for villains.
Okay, it'll be between them. Give me the setting, and I'll work it out from there. Go on. What's the setting?
Latveria.
Well, I think it's going to be Dr. Doom. Okay, so how could I make this work? How could I make this work? How could I make this work?
That again, or...
How could I make this work? Okay, start off. Moon Knight fighting a werewolf, because of course he is. Moon Knight, and he's fighting a werewolf, but it's sort of in interesting clothing. It's in like flowy scarves and ribbons with medallions and these jewels, and he's like, what the fuck is this? Moon Knight, it's a normal Moon Knight versus werewolf scrap, because of course it is. It's just a little tomfoolery. Moon Knight defeats him, of course. only for the werewolf to then turn into a tatted up, a tatted up man who's sort of in like gypsy / like prisoner outfit. Okay, you with me so far? Moon Knight then shakes them down. He's like, who the fuck are you? And they can only say one word: Doom. Oh, and that's the page reveal. You know, you got to get a full splash page for that. And then Moon Knight returns, finding, I don't know, what could it be? The medallion that was around the werewolf's neck has Latverian symbology on it, but it has a glowing aura of like magical energy. And Moon Knight's like, well, this is dangerous. This is very dangerous. And Moon Knight then uses his contacts. Oh, Crawley. He talks to Crawley, and Crawley has been speaking to homeless people that live along the docks of, let's say, New York, or maybe the West Coast. We'll go back there, you know. Which one homeless person had seen a. It was strange. It was like a fusion between a like sci-fi, like helicarrier almost, and an old style European pirate ship. Because obviously this was from Latveria. It even had a flag of Doom's face, you know, and it dropped off one. One man got thrown to the dock in chains, only for the medallion to begin to glow. And this poor homeless person was traumatized by seeing a man turn into a vicious werewolf. You know? Okay, so Moon Knight's realized he's dealing with some Latverian magical bullshit at this point. You know?
Yeah.
So he's like, fuck it. I'm gonna call Frenchie. Frenchie, come out of retirement. Let's go, bitch. And what they do, they fly to Latveria. They don't land, because as soon as they fly over it, you know what's going to happen. Ships appear, they start getting fired at. And Moon Knight's like, okay, Frenchie, this is where we say goodbye. And Frenchie's like, no, we have to go away and like come up with like a battle strategy. And then Moon Knight goes, no. Opens the ship doors and just jumps out with his cape like open, you know? He's dodging like plasma fire, and then let's say he lands on one of the ships and we see like a cool scene. Oh, it's one page, but you watch him go out through the levels of this ship, taking out every single person, only to then jump out the other end of it, you know? So he lands through the windscreen, takes out the pilot, takes out the other pilot, takes out a couple of armed guards that are there, and then only to jump out the back of the plane. He lands on top of a small Latverian, fuck it, it's a church. Let's add some of that symbology. Only for him to, he smashes through a pane glass window. Because of course he does. But what's the pane glass window? It's Doom. Obviously, who else is going to be in Latveria? He smashes through that, only for him to be bloodied, bruised, beaten, only for a priest to take him in and recover him. Latverian, Doom bots come in, but not like the ones that look like Doom. Do you know, like his guards, his sort of army? They walk in, and the priest is like, I haven't seen anyone. I seen like this moon creature blast through the window, and then he ran out into the woods. So then the Doom bots go over there while Moon Knight's recovering in the back. And then he recovers, learning that there was a prison behind Doomstot, so his castle, that harbored Latverian prisoners. But that has been recently demolished, and the only question is, where is all the prisoners gone? Dun dun. And this is where I want a costume change, because obviously he ruined some of his Moon Knight outfit, so he now has to wear like a Moon Knight Latverian gypsy crossbreed. You know, so it's more European, there's more flowing path, there's a couple of like medallions around the flowing path of his cape, you know, there's a little bit more interesting, there's just a little bit. The hood has like a nice scarf woven around it, and this is where I don't, what would you call it? Like Latverian Moon Knight? If there was a Moon Knight game, that's what the skin would be called. You know? And how does it begin? It begins with Moon Knight in pure white walking through the city of Latveria at night. And people are scared to go out because obviously they're like, what the fuck is happening? And Moon Knight's realised that ships fly overhead and Doom being like, so Moon Knight, it was you, blah, blah, blah. Well, just what are you doing? You with no getaway. None of this. You can't escape. What are you going to do? And then Moon Knight calls him out for turning prisoners into beasts of the night. And then Doom goes, fine, witness my horde. And as he does, creatures, like mythical creatures almost, step out from the woods. They're all in the same sort of prisoner outfit, but there's Wendigos, there's more werewolves, there's... Dan, give me some mythical creatures. There's creatures that look like big feet. Yeah, there's vampiric-esque people, but they're not like white-skinned with long teeth. They're like bat people almost, you know? So it's like, what Doom has done is used his magic to create these medallions that turn people, specifically Latverian prisoners, into creatures of the night, into these dark, monstrous creatures. And you know you got to get Moon Knight defeating them all, fighting them all, bam, 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 bam. And because of course he does. He's now bloodied, he's bruised, he's probably taken off a couple of faces at this point, and he slowly just starts marching towards Doom's dot. And then the Doom bots obviously come in, and they surround him. And Moon Knight just raises his hands and gets taken into Doom's dot as a prisoner. And then I don't know where to go from there.
And that's how the story ends.
Well, you learn Doom was planning on sending these creatures into New York and around the Baxter building to cause chaos and anarchy, only to try and the main point was he was experimenting with these medallions to see if he could make one that would make him, give him power of the night as well, you know? Like make him be able to, I don't know, like shapeshift or turn into these creatures at whim, you know, or turn other people at whim into these creatures so they'll be mindless and aggressive for him to then defeat in a hail of magic and lasers, you know? And this could be a thing where Moon Knight's in his Doom's dot, and that medallion's being created, the one that could turn anyone Doom wants into thing. And there's got to be a cool Doom suit where he has a hole in the chest ready for this medallion to go into it. And of course Moon Knight then, surrounded by them all, Moon Knight then does like a flash, throws the cape in one direction while he runs to the other, and then of course you got to get him. He grabs hold of the medallion, and then you hear Khonshu whisper in the back of his mind, "Be blessed by the dark, the creature of the moon." And this is where you see. Now, if you go to Infernum Comics Instagram, just at Infernum Comics, and you scroll down a bit, you will see a drawing I've done of Werewolf Moon Knight, which I named what did I call it? I think I called it Werewolf by Moon Knight, because obviously Werewolf by Night, werewolf, you know, he turns into that, and he has a cool werewolf fight with the actual Doom. Doom's going to defeat him, but during that the medallion is broken. Moon Knight's defeated, he's a prisoner of Doom, but Doom's mission has been vanquished. The only thing Moon Knight's able to do in that moment is send out one last message to the Avengers, just with the word Doom. And then that sets up a later sequel where they've got to go and save Moon Knight. Because Moon Knight can't win against Doom. I'm sorry, I love the boy, but he's going to get his ass handed to him. The most thing he can do is stop his plan. He ain't killing no Doom. And there you go. This story is called, it's got to be called Werewolf by Moon Knight. Or like that's, do you know how in some comics, they'll like write stuff on the comic almost? That's what it looks like. So on some Deadpool comics, you'll have him wrote through and put, or right above him, like the most marvelous Deadpool or whatever. It's like Werewolf by in jagged letters and then the Moon Knight font. There you go. There's, how many stories was that? 5?
5.
5. 5 pitches. Marvel, DC, hit me up. Dan, what do you think about these pitches, as you're the mastermind behind all of this?
I don't know how you did it.
I don't know how you did, but you did. Come on, you can see a lot of these stories being done in comics.
Were good for the material you were given.
What, which was 3 names? Yeah. And what is this? Exactly 1 hour. This recording, up until this point, exactly 1 hour. And I came up with 5 pitches in 1 hour from 5 superhero names, 5 villain names, 5 settings. Boom. I tried my ass off, I'm sweating, my throat is sore, I'm on the verge of death, but there's 5 comic pitches for you. So be sure to like this video, subscribe, especially let us know if you want to see us do more. Because didn't you have another 5 characters, settings, villains? So we could potentially do a sequel to this, if it does good, of course, or if you like it. And be sure to check out our webcomic that we create, which is actually inspired by Moon Knight, dealing with a superhero being trapped inside a mental asylum, over at infernumcomics.com, where we also have articles, and there you can see every single video we've made. So thank you for listening to me ramble about made-up stories, about made-up characters, but I tried my best. And this is my portfolio now. If anyone says, "Oh yeah, are you good at coming up with ideas?" I'll just send them the link to this video. So there you go. Thank you for watching.